What's up, ultra happy people? I am your host, ultra runner and coach Tanya, and your magnificent co-host, pacer, crew, everything.
Media
Manager again.
I feel like I'm the dog's boss.
Andy!
We are back.
Oh my god,
what
we
season
are
is
back.
it? What season? Hold on, what season are we on?
6.
Season 6. Who would have believed it?
We are back, people. That has been the longest we've been away, and we actually received a couple of messages of like, you guys are coming back. Are you like recording again? Yes, we are, but we had to take a couple of months. I think 2 months away from the microphones because, as you know, I went on that magnificent quest of conquering the last desert of the Grand Slam Plus, which is 5 deserts, and we went on to do the last one together. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Although we say that we've not really been on the mic, you've been busy.
I've been busy.
On the social media scenes and all that.
I've been busy.
Tanya was on Mexican TV for those who don't live in Mexico.
Yeah, we'll talk about all the fame and fortune I got from the 5 deserts. Probably a little bit of fame. No fortune.
You were even gifted trainers and things like that.
I know. How cool is that? We'll talk about that in a little bit when we finish talking about Atacama. But first, I know you guys missed your favorite section of the podcast. Andy's Facts by Andy!
Andy's Facts by Andy. I love it. It's been so long, hasn't it? I mean, like, it does seem like
it's your chance to talk before I take the microphone away.
I even have to clean the old man glasses because they've not been getting used. So, yeah. So, we're going to talk, because obviously we are finishing off with Atacama. I've got some Andy's Facts about Atacama.
Cool.
And then, when we eventually get to Cocodona, we'll do a Cocodona Facts.
We have a lot to talk about, people.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you all about it in a second.
Okay.
First things first.
So, just about Atacama itself. So, some intriguing facts about Atacama, because I think we never really explained about Atacama itself before you went. So, it's the world's driest non-polar desert. Some weather stations in Atacama have never recorded any rainfall. Certain areas went without significant precipitation for over 400 years.
That is insane.
No wonder you were thirsty.
No wonder why I got burned.
No wonder you were drinking so much water.
People, I got burnt. I've never burnt. I know I've crossed a couple of deserts, but I've never suffered like burns in my skin like I did in Atacama. So yeah, that may be it. Maybe it's just the dryness, because there is no like humidity to kind of protect your skin. I don't know.
Well, did you know it's one of Earth's oldest deserts? So it's way older than Sahara, way older than most of the ones that you would think about. The Atacama has been arid for at least 15 million years in its core region.
How old is the Earth?
With hyper-arid conditions persisting for millions of years.
How old is Earth? Wisely.
Well, I think it's really just a guess just now, isn't it? Because nobody can really know. They tell you something different every time someone makes a discovery. But that's mental, isn't it?
That is
absolutely mental. A Martian twin on Earth.
What?
It's extremely dry, rocky terrain.
Correct.
And minimal organic content make it a prime testing ground for Mars missions. NASA often tests rovers and instruments here and anything else they are looking to do on Mars.
I was going to say that I do have in my notes that it does look like you were walking in Mars at some points. Like,
that's really interesting.
I was literally feeling like this was out of this world, because I don't want to spoil it yet, people, but I think Atacama is one of my favorite ones just because of that uniqueness and the scenery that I've seen that I haven't seen that before in my life. So yeah, I can see it. I can definitely see it.
Well, do you know the thing is, you said to me when I met you, because you never came back from that one, it was your favourite?
That's my favorite. Yeah. I think just the scenery is so different. I think each desert, right? But I think Atacama took me off guard. Like, I never thought it would look like that. And it definitely looks like that, like literally out of this world.
Okay, so now a couple of Racing the Planet facts on Atacama. So, the 2025 Atacama Crossing, a 7-day, 250 kilometre, which is 155 miles for those in real money, self-supported ultramarathon across extreme terrain, took place in March 30th to the 5th of April. In the heart of the Atacama Desert, the race attracted approximately 150 starters from 44 countries, including runners aged from 20 to 72.
Yes, I told you there are some...
72?
Yeah. I think this year we actually have got the youngest runner, which I think he is 17. Running. So yeah, 17 years old. And he did the 5 days.
I mean, it's incredible, but even when we go on to talk about Cocodona later, I couldn't believe the age range in that, even though it felt younger than the others.
Yeah,
the age range is massive, isn't it?
Still.
Okay, so although the official finisher count for 2025 hasn't been publicly posted, past editions of Atacama Crossings typically report 80 to 120 finishers out of roughly 150 starters. So, for example, with 185 starters and 117 finishers, expect 60 to 70% completion rate this year.
Yeah.
There didn't seem to be too many DNFs in the Atacama one that we were following.
Yeah, I think like 10%. I think it's usually the rough estimate, 10 to 15. Usually it's like the, people that do not succeed on that chance.
Succeed in that chance.
There's some people that come back though. We had a racer that was trying it for its 3rd time. So he tried once, he didn't complete it. He obviously came back 2nd time, and this was his 3rd time. And he completed it this year.
Yeah.
So everyone was like super happy for him. It was funny because that was like one of those like camp stories, and it was funny that he actually made it this year. And it was so cool to kind of like be part of it, or kind of like be there to witness it, because it was so much so emotional for this racer. So that was really interesting. Yes, because
to set the mood for Atacama,
we have so much to talk about. Like Andrew was saying, we have so much in this season 5. We have obviously the Atacama finishing, which is the pinnacle of what we've been working towards this year together, getting ready for the 5 deserts, which, I mean, I'm not going to spoil it because probably you all know, yes, we finished it. Yeah. Ooh. So we're talking about that. I know we're working on getting them in the wall at some point. So we finished the Atacama, we finished the 5 deserts, and then we went on a little break, 4 weeks, towards Cocodona, which also was our big goal for the year. So we have all that chat in this season. So we're going to obviously walk through Atacama first, because we have a lot to talk about.
And you did a lot of walking in Atacama too.
I did not do a lot of walking. Less than in other ones, for sure. I did walk because the terrain, I'll tell you all about it, but the terrain is just miserable, and it was very hot. But again, I'm just going to go from backwards to beginning. I did feel very good, and actually we were able to finish in 7th place women. So yeah.
That is incredible.
I was not walking. I was truly like feeling good.
It was funny on my side, because obviously I'm watching and putting out all the information out, etc. That you can definitely see the days that you're struggling a little bit, and then see the days that you are on fire. It
was so funny. Probably you could see like, oh, Tanya had a good day. You're like, oh no, she's going back. She's going back. Yeah. It's funny. Like probably you see like the dots moving around, and then at the end of the day, you're like, oh, she lost a couple of places.
And for those that don't know as well, it's really difficult from the other side, because we don't get any communication really. I mean, I might be lucky enough to get one message of some kind through,
but I think you didn't get any messages.
Nothing this time. So you're only kind of really working off the photos and the videos and scanning for every little dot that you can find, and then looking at the race cards, and then looking at the updates. So it's kind of trying to navigate finding what you can about you. You know what I mean?
That must be
hard.
I
tell you something that's really funny, is that with the exception of one, and correct me if I'm wrong here, with the exception of one, all your numbers have revolved around like the 8, I'm 9, I'm 19 and 18. I think he's a 13 before. Because there's like a
terrible.
number, there's like a number that keeps coming up for you all the time in these races, isn't there? Like your tent numbers and stuff like that, which is quite fun.
Yeah, so Atacama was fast. Was fast because it's a rain allowed it some parts, and then obviously I'll tell you that then later on we crossed some salt flats which were really like slow going. So I mean there was no chance you can run in there. But let's just start with the beginning. Stage 1 and 2 of Atacama. As you know, let's do a very quick reminder to you all what is the races that I'm doing. So they are 250 kilometer races divided in 6 days, so 6 stages. The first 4 days or 4 stages are usually a marathon distance, and then day 5 or stage 5 you are hit by the long march, which is usually a double marathon, so around 80. Jordan was 90 kilometers, but in this one, surprisingly, it was 70, which was lovely because I was like, great, that's a little bit less. But the bad thing is that the day 6 is usually a short stage, 5 to 10k. In this one, the last day was 18k, which was almost half a marathon, like 20k. So I mean, it was still, you're close, but not that close, like the other races.
But what way did you prefer it?
Like the other races.
Or did you prepare it like
Oh,
the other
absolutely.
races?
The last day I was just like, I think if you're tired, you want to go home, like enjoy, and then you're like, you can't fully relax because you have 20k ahead of you, and 20k is considerably far. I mean, further than 5 or 10 that it's been before. So it's like, oh, I'm like, you cannot be joy.
Still feels like a race the next day, rather than
20,
a victory
exactly,
lap.
20k. And then for the people that are racing or are really close to other, and they are racing at places and stuff, 20k can still make a big difference if you are away or you're catching or you're being catched by someone. If you have, I don't know, 10-15 minutes difference or ahead, or in a 20k you can still make up that time, but in a 5k not really, like it would be really difficult. So in this one I seen a lot of people kind of not worried, but they were like more on like thinking about that, like, oh, the last day still being a race, because you can still make up some time if you were close enough or to make up that time.
I have a question.
Andy's raising their hands.
I'm going back to raising my hand again. From Namibia to Atacama, do you think that you started off not really thinking about being placed in any manner? When you started Namibia, it was just a case of finishing it. And then by the time you got to Atacama, because you'd been through 5 of them, you thought to yourself, I think I would like to try and get a place, or you believed that you could get a place or improve a place?
I think each desert, it's so different. So I took every desert as in, let's see if I can play or if I cannot play. For example, I know Namibia was like too hot. It was the first one. I was literally surviving. So obviously there was like no thought in my head that I will I could fight for anything. I was just, let's just survive this and that's it. And then Gobi, for example, I found it easy to run with, like very runnable, and I was doing quite good. So I was like, hold on, I think I could find a place here. And like obviously not the top 3 or top 4 because they are usually, but you know, like the middle range, which we like in the middle of the board. There is still a fight going on. like we're not aiming, it's the people that are not, pros, and they're not like aiming for the first 3-4 places, but there is a good chunk of like from 4 to 10 that we're fighting to get into the top 10. Just just a little game that we have. So Gobi was the first one that I thought, I think I could sneak in, and then I think Gobi actually started quite far behind, and then I make up a lot of places. So I think I just tested in how am I feeling. If I can, I think I could do good, I'm gonna push it. Yeah. But I learned that in Gobi I pushed too hard. I pushed too late to actually, because I think I could have done better, but it was my second race. I was feeling good, so I was like, I'm feeling good. I'm suspicious when I'm feeling too good. I don't know about you guys, but when you're feeling too good in day 2 and you're like, I'm gonna push, but I still 5 days. That is a tricky part about these long stages or these long races in different days, because one day you can feel great and the other one, well, you don't know. So I think not that I made that mistake, but it's something that I kind of thought about, like, maybe I should push since the beginning instead of like day 4 when I'm like, oh, I have too much fuel left in the tank. But, that thought, I just put it in the thought box there for like future reference. And then we had Jordan, which, as you know, if you go back to that season, you will see that we had a really rough race just because of my trainers. So again, I went back to I'm just fighting for my life. So there was no way I can place anything. In Antarctica, I think that one was different because it was loops, and I think it was not. Yeah, it was difficult to track who was in front and the back, and I think I still did well, but it was just a different kind of setup, as you know. And then this one, the day 1, even though I am going to come in very clear and raw here, but I came in in the start line not feeling my fittest or my lightest or my strongest self. I mean, remember that I've been doing these races for a year with like minimal recovery, because it's almost back-to-back races. Like, you come home, you rest a little bit, you do a couple of recovery runs. Usually, this one we had a particularly long gap. We had 14 weeks, which it was great. Actually, I was starting to feel back myself, but I mean, you're recovering, you cannot train super hard because you have the other one in the door, and I had cocodona after it, so I couldn't kill myself. And then you obviously eating, as the same, because I think that was probably not my mistake, but you're human, you're hungry. I'm not going to change. You can't be in calorie deficit when you are in the middle of doing something like this. So I did gain a little weight, I think, from not in that gap. I think just like in the build up to that
and
moment.
We discovered that there was cortisol issues.
And then I had my cortisol issue that I've been also sharing with you all. I had my hump in my back has been my hump. My hump. Isn't that like the song?
Someone said you got it because you're like a camel in the desert.
Yeah. Maybe I was turning into a camel slowly because I've been in the desert for too long. But I was like, sadly, I don't think it's water in there. I think it's just fat from the cortisol races. And I could feel my body kind of shifting. And again, we have to understand it more how this kind of works for women, because we respond much different to these extreme, races or endurance tasks. So I did see a shift in my body. So I actually looked at myself in the videos, which actually the MIF video, the first long vlog in my YouTube channel, just turned 1 year old yesterday. So I was watching it, I was looking at it a little bit, and I was like, that is like a different person. Like, if you see myself there, it's not that I look fat now, but I look bloated. I just look so tired and destroyed, and that's exactly how I felt. So if you see the person that started the deserts and then the person that finishes, it's just, I feel not my confident self. So it was hard to start in that start line because I was not feeling like, let's say, like great. But I was like, you know what? Also, I know that sometimes your strongest self is not your leanest self. So with that in mind, I said, maybe I'm not feeling my great, but you know what? I do know my aerobic capacity, the motor that I have inside me, I feel is the strongest it's been. And that is true. Like, I could feel like I could last forever. Like, I've had a really good engine in me. Maybe the outside is just like a car, right? Like, your engine is like got a real a update.
Yeah.
But the outside kind of got a couple of scratches on the build up to that. So that's exactly how I felt. So I was like, you know what, confident that I will be able to finish it. I never had like a second doubt that I would not finish. I mean, unless obviously there's like a massive injury or something, which obviously you have to be careful. But apart from that, I never had a second doubt. But yeah, it's something that to think that maybe even though you don't feel your strongest or your leanest, or still go after it. You never know. It's about the experience. It's not about because all the thing is like the deserts don't know. They don't know about your weight or who you are. They don't care about that. So again, go back to like what I've seen in Namibia, for example, that I've seen very fit people, very slim people, very lean people not finishing. And I've seen other people that maybe they were not their average athlete look and will finish. So you really never know in those races. You can really literally never know. And I always tell you that. I think if you see us in the street, the most hardcore people out there, if you see us in the street, you will never think that person is like such a hardcore athlete.
Yeah, I noticed that particularly in Cocodona, because it definitely when I was out pacing you, some of the runners that I was seeing.
We'll talk about that later.
No, but just making the point that seeing some of the runners that are in front of you are all shapes and sizes. There's not a real shape to it. And I guess we kind of knew that, but it really became apparent.
Yeah, because you didn't have the chance to see it, obviously, in the deserts.
I've not been out in the field like that before, do you know what I mean? So I didn't really get to see it in a practical sense. But I was pretty amazed by that.
So you say I haven't lied to you, people. Andy is here to actually say that it's true. Yeah. So again, with that, I just went on and just put confidence I've got of my mental toolkit just to start that race. And after the first day, actually, I was like, I feel really good, and I know this feeling. I remember from Gobi, Tanya, that you were feeling good. I think we should push since the beginning and see what happens. If you blow, you just blow, and then what's the worst that can happen? You just have to walk the last couple of kilometers, or you just slow down, and that's it. So day 2, which it was one of the most beautiful days I had in the deserts, like all of them. By this point, we've been crossing how many? So that would be for 25 stages in the whole year. This one, I think, takes the top one day in my
desert history,
in my desert experience. Yes, absolutely. Even though it was one of the toughest days, just because of the altitude and the massive dunes, it was just a horrible climb, right? Just so relentless. But I was fighting for a place because, again, I said, I think I can push. So I knew who were the people in front of me. I think I was in that moment number 6 or 7. So I was like, I think I can take on this person. And I was just like going for it. I passed her, and I tried not to let her pass me. And there was like this massive climb, and I remember just keep pushing because she is behind you and she's not going to stop. So I remember, maybe she listens to the podcast, but I did tell her that she was like my big motivation. I was like just scared of her catching me up. But
that must be a nice thing.
It was super fun. It was a New Zealand girl, very young as well, very strong, and I was like, oh my god. But everyone seemed to start noticing that I would pick up after kilometer 20, like halfway through. It usually is the moment that I kind of pick up, and everyone was kind of like, Tanya is back now, but she's gonna start like picking up in a second. So everyone's starting to kind of catch up on that.
It must be quite difficult going into the races, for example, like say Atacama, because while you can read about the territory and maybe watch videos about the terrain and things like that, you just don't know what's coming in front of you. You can't plan for it. Whereas if you're like a lot of runners, for example, in different races will go out, and we've talked before about recce the races, or there's people that actually move. So say for example UTMB, people move to those areas.
Cocodona as well. There's people that have been living there for a couple of months.
So they can go and get familiar with like Sedona or whatever it is. But they don't have that.
That's funny now thinking back, because they probably never expected what happened in the race. But Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, exactly. And this one, it could be like flat. It would say in your watch, you know, the altitude map, you will see a flat stretch, and you were like, okay, that's flat. You know, I'll take on some soles here because I will run. Yeah, but it was so flat, so you couldn't run. It's like walking on coral reefs, sort of like that. It's a crunchy, and sometimes your feet can just go in fully, and then you will have to be very careful because they would like really scratch you. It's just salt.
I've seen images of that because it's like thick layers of salt, but the salt can't contain your weight. So what happens is you stand up and you drop in.
Sometimes and sometimes not. So it's like walking in like these gold mines, right? That you don't know if it's gonna like, you just like hope for the best. So that salt flat stretches were pretty much like scattered around the whole race. Like there were some long stretches of it, there were some short ones, but there was all Atacama is kind of like, you know, full with them. So we did cross a couple of those. There was a long stretch on day 3 or 4, which I'll talk about that later. But this one, day 2, like I was saying, I just started really strong, and then there was a big climb. So having someone in the back was really helpful to kind of motivate myself. So everyone was like, at the end of the day, were like complaining, but they were saying, "Oh my god, that uphill was brutal." I didn't even think about the climb. I didn't even felt the climb because I was just scared. I was just scared she was gonna catch me, so I was just going full pedal.
Super
like
focused.
I had no idea. I was just like, she's gonna. I think I was just had that fear, that adrenaline inside of me. So I didn't even feel a thing. So it was beautiful. Once getting up to that, after that climb, you were like in this ridge of the mountain overlooking Death Valley, which is, I'll put it, if you're watching YouTube, I'll put it there, and if you're in Spotify, just jump in this bit to YouTube, because I'll put you here. But I didn't even care if she was gonna catch me. I had to stop and pull my camera out because I was like, this is absolutely out of this world. So you are hit by, you're in the ridge, but you're to your left, you have this like rock formations that are like so unique, and so I've never seen something like that in my life. I was like, I need to record this for the people. Like, this is absolutely insane. And funny enough, there's a lot of people cycling as well. So if you ever want to go and see these places and you don't want to run 250 kilometers, I know there was a lot of cycling tours. So you go, we didn't mention, but you start in San Pedro de Atacama. It's a town. So you could get there, which by the way is the cutest town ever. Like the cutest town. And there's so many tours and so many things to do around. So I would highly recommend, if you are like, you know, you like to experience something totally different, it's one of the places I would recommend definitely, just to go and just to explore. And there was a lot of tours with bicycles, with like just off-road bikes. So I've seen a lot of those in that ridge because it was absolutely stunning. A lot of people taking photos, like a lot of tourists, which is not usually, you don't usually get to see a lot of tourists in,
because you're way out of the way, aren't you?
You're very out of the way. And Atacama was kind of fun to see tourists, and a couple of them, they were asking like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" or whatever. You kind of replied right away, like really fast, kind of like passing, and they were like, "Oh my god!" Or you would pass, and they will be already clapping because probably someone already told them what was happening, and they will stop obviously with the bicycles, and they will like step obviously off the trail because it's a single track, and they will be clapping and cheering, which that was awesome. And we never get any clapping or any cheering. So, you know, it was fun. You don't get any, usually you by yourself. That's it. So it was kind of refreshing to have that alongside having that beautiful view. I think it was one of the highlights of my whole desert experience. So after that big climb, you kind of finish into this top of the sand dunes. So it's funny, it was all stone or rock right through the ridge, and then you hit a part where it just finishes and it turns into sand, and it's the most, it's just the biggest sand dune I've ever seen in my life.
This is going down the way sand dune.
Going down the way
Right,
sand
okay,
dune.
got it.
Thank God. But still, it was super scary because let's say you will have a runner in front of you and you will see him and suddenly he will just disappear
Right.
out of nowhere. Like it was just a drop. Almost a straight drop. Like it was very scary. I stood there and I was like, how the hell we're gonna go down here? And obviously you see little people kind of like getting lost in the distance of going down. I was like, well, I guess if they did it,
Follow the footsteps.
there was no footsteps because they just get this like disappear. Like the
right
moment
away,
you put
don't they?
your foot, it just crumbles.
Wow.
Yeah, like the sand just goes away. And it was just magical, but very scary the first steps. Also in here, I took my camera out. I think I had it out because I was filming the bridge. And I kept it out and it was beautiful. All that sand dune, it was beautiful. Absolutely stunning. And I think that's those two things, that's what made my favorite day of out there. So yeah, that was day 2 of Atacama. And I finished, and I think I finished also quite well between probably place 7 and 8. And I think the girl didn't catch me that day. She will catch me later though, but not that day.
Not that day.
Not that day. So I didn't see anyone. I think it was a pretty strong day out there. And yeah, it was really fun.
Okay. On to day 3.
On to day 3, you'll have to wait until next episode because I don't wanna bore you all with just all my Atacama chat. I know, and then I finished, but I need to share it with you.
I think for anybody that follows Instagram,
I know they're like,
it's
yeah,
kind of documented.
I know.
But what we are going to do is that going forward, I think it's going to be really interesting talking about Cocodona because we're going to do a sort of long format, I guess documentary style thing about that.
Yeah, it's coming.
And that is going to, I think that when you see that will clear up a lot of what the deserts were as well because you've got a lot of the same feelings, a lot of the same thoughts that go through.
I do have to say that I didn't think about Atacama, about Cocodona at all. I think it was too far away. Remember like when I attack something really big, I'm just thinking about the next step that I have to finish. So I don't like to feel overwhelmed about Cocodona. Or the next massive goal.
Yeah.
So I was not thinking about anything. I think while I'm out there, I just actually think to the next checkpoint, like just make it to the next checkpoint or make it to the next, just finish the day. So I didn't really think about, like Cocodona or anything. I wasn't thinking about that at all. But it was great to see also, in another note, it was great to see the people that I've been racing for the whole year because there is a set of, how many are we? 7, I think, of runners that we've been doing the Grand Slam Plus alongside, and there is 3 women with me as well. So I don't know, it was really fun to see them. It was kind of bittersweet as well because we all, I think, behind, like in the back of our heads, we knew it was the finish, and we knew. I did feel that way. It was almost like, oh, it's my second, so it's 5 days to go, and I think in 3 days everything is gonna be over. So it was kind of bittersweet. Like you're excited for it to be over, but also you are like sad when it finishes. I don't know if everyone out there gets the race blues, and I've heard it's a big.
We spoke about it.
Yeah, you spoke about your Andy's facts.
Yeah,
there's people, and I seen it also. I had a couple of chats with other ultra runners in these times, and there's been a couple that have been shared that they have the race blues, like when they finish a big project or a big race, they literally go into like a sort of like a little depression or even big depressions. Like they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do with their time. They just feel like sad about it. I don't think I get sad about it. I sad in the sense of like, oh, it's over, but not that sad. Like I'm usually quite happy because I'm already busy usually. Crazy thing. So that kind of helps.
In your head that you don't have time for it.
I'm like, I don't have time to think too much, but I'm usually excited for what's ahead. But yeah, I did feel a little bit, in this case, a little bit sad that it's gonna be, I was like, 3 days and this is over, but also excited for, obviously I knew I was gonna bring it home. The first Mexican finishing the 5 desserts. And yeah, saying that I was sharing with this, so I was trying to have a chat and obviously last conversations with these people that you don't know if you're going to see again. So it was quite emotional sometimes. You will see the video as well, and I'll tell you all about it. Day 6, the last day. That day, I literally was crying the whole day. Like, since I woke up till I crossed the finish line, I was just crying the whole day. It was super emotional for me to finish that.
I think you could see that on when you cross the finish line, because there's a video of you crossing the finish line. You could definitely see it in you. It reminded me of when you completed your first 100 mile.
I think in my Instagram, okay, for you don't know, it's very difficult to record format, horizontal format and vertical format. So we do have 2 videographers, one that catches the vertical format and one the horizontal format. So you kind of have to see my 2 medias, right? If you want to see the whole picture. Probably I should do better so everyone sees everything. Yeah. But you need to see the video of Instagram, which is the vertical format. And this videographer caught me when I was getting ready about to leave for the race, or for that last day. I was crying already in that moment, so I was like, yeah, we'll tell you that one in day 6. But yeah, I just wanted to say that it was very emotional, even since and it was great to chat with my peers, and just to kind of like also share how it's been this experience for all of us. It's been very different from a lot of us, but also we had a lot of things in common. Yeah. Like we all gained weight, you know, we were all really tired. I remember we arrived to San Pedro de Atacama, and there's obviously racers that this is their first race, you know, obviously. And there's other ones that us, you know, we're doing the 5th one. Or there's people that are doing their 15th one, you know, in 20 years, or why not? So we were sitting we had in our tent one guy that was his first stage race, or first, I think it was his first ultra marathon, like this long. It was funny, but he was like, we went to have lunch just to get to know your tent. So we went to have lunch, and he was like super excited. And I remember my friend Lisa, which, you know, we've been doing all of the deserts together. We went as well, and we were like not very excited about it. We were just like, I can't believe I'm here again. Like, you know, with that, like, I can't, like, I don't want to do this again face. And he is like all happy and cheering, and, you know, he's like, oh, I'm so excited. And we're like, is this your first time? And he's like, yeah, I'm super pumped to be here. And we're like, yes, your first. I can tell, like, we don't know if you're gonna be that excited in a couple of days. And that also made it really, not funny, but it was interesting to see him. Day 1, he was like, okay. Day 2, you can see him a little bit more scared. And I'll say about day 3 and 4, but his story, I think we should bring him in the podcast. It will be funny. Not funny, but, you know, not like I'm laughing about him, but it's just interesting to see another viewpoint. Like, maybe that was me when I was in Namibia, to be honest. Maybe I looked like that all the time, scared.
Everybody does the first race, do you know what I mean? And it's that unknown what they go through. But the one thing that I definitely see throughout Racing the Planet, and I see it even with you now, is there's such camaraderie about it. You know, like it's like you've been to war, been through things. And although you're saying, oh, laughing at, I know you don't mean laughing at someone,
like
you're laughing at the situation because you remember. Because
I was there, and I think actually Lisa.
That's something never to be scared of in these races. Is you've got so many people around you with experience and new people and everybody working together to get to the end. You know.
Exactly, and even before that, Lisa helped him to pack his bag because he had a little bit of a rough time putting it together. And I think they were like, their rooms were close by or whatever, and they were able, like, she was helping him to get it lower. His backpack was still very heavy, but at least was able to pack it down because he couldn't even pack it down. So that's the other thing. You'll always be, I think it's good to put yourself in these uncomfortable positions, and I always clap the people try to do something different, and I try to do it myself, like we're gonna go into that when I go into Cocodona, because obviously I put myself in a very difficult position, and I think that's when you learn the most about yourself, obviously. And even though I've done the race before, for example, I said I'm gonna put myself in the uncomfortable position of I'm gonna try to push since the beginning, which is also, if now that I was confident that I was going to be able to finish it, I was feeling comfortable also as well to maybe push a little bit and put, a little bit of speed, which, it was uncomfortable for me because I'm usually not really care about that. But I was like, you know what, let's put some fire in this. Let's do it. So yeah, day 1 and day 2, I didn't get burned. We're all good. We're still in a good place, good position. Surviving, good, and having fun. We're still having fun so far. It may disappear.
So far. Dun, dun, dun.
Before I die. I mean, if you play hard, you may lose hard as well. So I know the risks, and I was putting my hand into fire. So yeah. So we are super happy. We're gonna leave it there, and then we're gonna leave stage 3 and 4 for the next episode, which things may explode a little bit. And we want to remind you that we are back. And please go into Spotify and do like a star if you can, like subscribe, like, or send us a wee comment. That would really help the podcast to kind of go back up, because we haven't been around, I think we're back again to
down quite a bit
all the way down. So you can't just, if you've been listening for a while, if you're using this podcast to get inspired to just listen to nonsense while you're running, go in there in Spotify or in Apple Podcasts. That would be great. And in my YouTube channel, I recommend you to go and watch the video. Atacama is not up there yet. I'm just still working on it. And I want to take this last couple of minutes of this episode to share with you that I have a very exciting project that I've been working on alongside my friend Maiwa, which you probably know her from the deserts as well. She is quite well known in the trail community. She is the champion actually of the Grand Slam Plus. And she became my really good friend. Obviously, we've shared so much together this year. So much that, one day in Antarctica, by the way, when we were just laying down in that ship, kind of half dead and trying to survive the...
You did say ship, didn't you?
Boat?
Ship. What? No, it's fine because it sounded like something else now.
So trying to survive that ship, that too as well. And we were like just there trying to survive the Drake Passage, and just, we were just thinking like how we were kind of reflecting on how amazing this year has been and how amazing the experiences that we've lived. And she has kind of the same goal as me, like how can you promote it, or how can you bring more women into the community, into like trying these things. But we also understand that it may be a little bit scary, or a little bit, maybe it's too much, and to do 250 kilometers. So I was like, there should be a way where you can bring this experience to maybe just a little bit more digest, like people can
easy to get through.
Yeah, easy to get through, that you don't need to be...
And especially with other people around you as well on the same boat, potentially,
Yeah, exactly. So we were like, yes, I have the same goal. And this beautiful project called Instinto Expeditions was born from that chat. And so far, we already been to Marrakesh. We got together a 13 women group, and we took it to Marrakesh, they were able to learn so much from Maiwa herself to teach her how to run a little bit in sand dunes. I think in the whole 7 days they ran 15K. So they only ran the first 2 days. They learned a little bit of technique. They learned a little bit how to run up at sand dune, down. There were people there that were not even runners. They were just intrigued by the experience of running or being in sand dunes. And then after that, they went up to climb the Toubkal, and they had these like beautiful culture and immersion into the Marrakesh culture. They went to visit Bedouin families and all these that we think it was. Another part that we loved about the deserts, it was not only the running part, but like the sharing with the locals, because while we're in the camps, I don't know if I've shared this with you, but the people that put the camp, take it down, is usually local people from the area. Gobi was, people that live from there. In Jordan as well, there were Bedouins we're moving the camps all together, obviously with the help of the organizers, but there's a lot of locals. And in meal times and the downtime, you are sharing with them. I think the meal was wonderful. I'm going to put a video there as well, that they took us, they put a big bonfire, and they almost the last day, and we all danced a lot around the bonfire, and they were like teaching us how to sing. And it's not like the logo of the races is more than a race, because it truly is. You're like in this place sharing with locals and all these different cultures around the world, literally. So we wanted to put that into the experiences as well. So that is the goal of Instinto Expeditions, to bring women, to bring them these kind of like a taste of these experiences around the world without having to be super extreme as well, and just a little bit more friendly for all. So go ahead and check it out. I think you're gonna love what we're doing, and you're gonna go with 2 women that are obviously experienced. She is also a certified coach. I'm also a certified coach, and obviously there is a hint there of, if you want to learn, you can learn from us as much as you want. So go ahead and follow us there. And I think that is the close. It was a short and easy one for you all to kind of get introduced to season 6.
Back to the noise.
Back to the noise. And we're back in Dubai, by the way. It's been a while, and it's hot in here. So get ready for a hot summer here. So and then getting back to, we'll talk about that, but I'm just getting back to training as well after all this. So I'm looking forward to sharing what's to come, because there is plans already, obviously. You know me, I have my schedule full, and we're going to be sharing it all with you again. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining us today. And remember to keep doing whatever makes you ultra happy.